Hello, my name is Rachel. I am part of the Switch Together team. We are happy to offer this Solar 101 webinar where you can learn all about solar installations, battery storage, and the finances of going solar. In this webinar, you'll be hearing from our partner, the Midwest Renewable Energy Association. The MREA is a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting clean energy, energy efficiency, and sustainable living through education and demonstration. They will walk you through the basics of solar technology and the economics of purchasing a system. In the second half of their presentation, you will also be presented with information that is specific to where you live. Participants in our program will also have access to installer webinars. Those sessions will walk through our program's personal recommendations, including installer presentations. In addition to our webinars, you can access more information about solar panels and our program on our website's blog or our FAQ section. I'll now give the floor to our partners at the MREA.
Hi, I'm Corey with the MREA, and we have partnered with CUB, or the Citizens Utility Board of Illinois, and iChooser to offer the Switch Together Solar Group Buying Program. Through this program, we aim to educate people about solar energy and connect those who want to go solar with quality and vetted installers across Cook, DuPage, Kane, Lake, and Will counties. Also included are Kendall and McHenry County. Now is a great time to go solar thanks to the available state and federal incentives, and we're excited to help you learn more about them. In this presentation, we will cover how solar works, the benefits of going solar, and current available incentives. Additional webinars with the installers will also be available throughout the Switch Together program. Those webinars will give you an opportunity to learn more about your personal recommendation and your installer. This program is led by two nonprofits, which are the MREA and CUB. The MREA, or Midwest Renewable Energy Association, was established in 1990, and we promote renewable energy through education and demonstration. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, and we've offered over 60 group buy programs similar to this one throughout the Midwest since 2013. Now to introduce our friends at CUB. The Illinois General Assembly created Citizens Utility Board in 1983 through the CUB Act. CUB is a nonprofit, nonpartisan, and member-based organization with a mission to fight utility rate hikes, promote clean energy, and advocate for consumer protection in Illinois. So the agenda for today. This presentation will begin with the benefits of going solar. Then we'll go over the basics of how solar works, and the various ways you can go solar, like leasing versus owning, the Solar for All program. Lastly, we'll explain the specifics of the Switch Together Chicagoland program. All right, so benefits of going solar. Let's talk about why right now is a good time to go solar. There are several reasons why people are making the decision to go solar. Solar technology isn't exactly new. The first solar cells for commercial use came in line around 1956, so quite a while ago, and it's continued to improve and advance since then. It is now cost competitive with other sources of energy, and in some cases, is actually the most cost-effective option. There are now more than 219 gigawatts of solar energy capacity installed in the United States, which is enough to power 40 million American homes. Solar also continues to be one of the fastest growing energy sources, accounting for 64% of all new electric generating capacity additions in 2024. Solar can also improve your home value. Zillow found that on average, homes with solar panels sell 10 days faster and for 4.1% more than similar non-solar homes. Going solar can pay for itself. Since you're no longer solely depending on your utility or your electricity, you're protecting yourself from rate increases. We like to say you're locking in the price of your energy. Gaining energy independence is another benefit of going solar. There's also an environmental benefit to going solar. Reduced pollution is a major benefit of solar energy. Widespread solar adoption can significantly reduce various harmful emissions, which contribute to air pollution and cause health problems. By going solar, you can reduce the demand for fossil fuels, limit greenhouse gas emissions, and shrink your carbon footprint. One home installing solar can have a measurable effect on the environment. In this example, this is the environmental benefits of a lifetime of a 5 kilowatt system, which for all intents and purposes is a medium to small system for a regular home. And you can see we have great benefits such as eliminating 15,000 gallons of gas burned or over 79 tons of coal. So let's talk some Solar 101. So a solar cell or PV cell, photovoltaic cell, is a semiconductor made of silicon. When a photon or sun ray hits one of these cells, the movement of the electrons in the cell create direct current, or DC current. This DC electricity will then flow to your system's inverter, which converts the DC current to AC, alternating current, which is what your home uses. That energy is either used to power a load, which is the energy demand inside your home, or it flows into the utility grid. Before it flows to the grid, it will hit your utility meter, which will track how much excess energy your system has produced. It will also track how much energy you're drawing from the utility when the sun is not shining. I'll return to this topic, this ebb and flow with the utility grid later in the presentation. First, however, I did want to touch on inverters. An important component of your solar system is the inverter, which converts the DC electricity that the solar panels generate into the usable AC electricity. There are different types of inverters that make sense for different situations and properties. These include string inverters, microinverters, and power optimizers. When you receive a proposal, your installer representative can explain the inverter choice that makes sense for your property. Generally, your inverter will have a warranty that will range between 5 to 15 years and can be extended to 20 to 25 years for an additional cost. So, grid-tied systems. It's important to note that a grid-tied solar system does go down when the power goes down. So if the power goes out, your solar panels are shutting off. And this is just done to prevent your system from generating power that could backfeed onto the grid. And, we don't want to be sending power from your solar panel into a down line. We want to prevent injury to the utility line workers performing the repairs. You can opt to install a battery with your solar system, and this would be able to power a designated set of loads within your home in the event of a power outage. A battery can range $9,000 to $12,000 or more, so a battery storage system is a significant investment. However, despite this cost, these storage systems are an increasingly popular option for backup power. If you're interested in batteries, we recommend having that conversation with the installer. Furthermore, batteries will be an additional add-on, which will be included in your solar switch together personal recommendation. For the majority of consumers, we recommend a grid-tied system because they are considerably less expensive and also allow for net metering, which I'm going to cover now. So, net metering is the system that allows solar owners to send unused electricity into the power grid in exchange for credits. When your system produces more energy than your home needs, the surplus is fed into the grid, and your electric meter keeps track of the excess. Later, when your home needs power from the grid, at night, it's snowing, it's cloudy, those credits are applied to reduce your bill. For example, sunny afternoon, you're overproducing, your system is generating more electricity than your home uses. Instead of just going to waste, that extra power is shared with the grid and it earns you credits. Later that night, when your home is drawing electricity from the grid, these credits offset the cost of that power. And this greatly reduces your energy bill. Something important to note is that ComEd recently updated their net metering policy. So if you know someone that got solar in previous years, net metering is going to look a little different for you. Net metering for new customers in 2025 is changed. So ComEd credits you at the same rate you're buying energy from them. And these credits are applied to the supply section of your bill. And these credits roll over month to month and they don't expire. So net metering can work to save you money over the course of the whole year as your credit for excess production rolls over into those future months. So let's take a look at a ComEd bill. This is the back of a ComEd bill. It may look familiar, but there are some solar-specific differences. Under meter information, there will now be two readings. One will be kilowatts sent to the grid, kilowatt hours sent to the grid, and one will be for kilowatt hours that you used from the grid. In the example shown, the customer used 1,008 kilowatt hours from the grid and exported 1,210 kilowatt hours to the grid. So we're going to keep talking about this bill. So this customer had some rollover credits this month, and they show up under miscellaneous. These credits are applied to this month's bill, and they show up under the supply section. Something else to know is that ComEd offers an hourly pricing program, which can lower your bill even further. If you want to learn more about the hourly pricing program, you can visit the FAQ page on solarswitch.com/Chicagoland or go to hourlypricing.comed.com. So I did want to talk a little bit about this change for 2025. As I mentioned, net metering has changed for this year. So net metering credits will be applied to the supply section of your bill rather than all three sections. In addition to these supply side credits, you'll now be eligible for a distributed generation rebate. This rebate requires the use of a smart inverter, and the value of the rebate will depend on the size of your installation. However, under law, the value of the rebate will be at least $300 per kilowatt of generating capacity. So this new system from ComEd means that customers after 2025 will receive a larger benefit upfront, but reduced net metering benefits throughout the lifetime of the system. Options and considerations. So location and siting. Let's talk about the ideal physical site for solar. The solar window is the period of the day when your location is receiving the highest amount of solar exposure, which is typically from 9 to 3 p.m. South-facing exposure is ideal, but east or west-facing exposure can also work. Unshaded flat roofs can also be good for solar. So the background of this slide is a screenshot from Google Project Sunroof. And Google Project Sunroof is a helpful tool to see how much sunlight your rooftop receives. And it's similar to the ComEd tool. It can be helpful for identifying your solar window on your house, but note that it isn't the best with cost estimates, and it doesn't take into account generally a garage, a shed, a gazebo, or open yard space. So we recommend getting a site assessment with your installer to see all the options that are available to you. But this is just a good starting point to see, for example, how much sun your roof is getting. We can see in the bottom right corner, we see that really bright yellow. That's a good solar window. That's a south-facing roof that has no shade, has a great solar window, 9 to 3 p.m. That's kind of what you're looking for. So a roof-mounted system. This is the most common type of installation, and it's typically attached via aluminum railings. It does require roof penetrations, but the ceiling is very good, and installers assume all the responsibility for any roof damage in the future. And something else to know is that roof mounts typically use the existing pitch of your roof, so there'll be no need to angle the panels up. They'll just sit flat on the roof. A ground mount is another option if you don't have a good roof for solar. However, there is an additional cost because the installer will have to build the racking and likely trench to your house from the yard. There are some other considerations to consider when you're thinking about getting solar. So the first one is your roof condition. If you're anticipating re-roofing within the next 5 to 8 years, you may want to re-roof before you add solar to your house. And the only reason for this is you don't want to take on the additional cost of calling your installer to have them come back out, take those panels off while you're getting a new roof, and then put them back on when your new roof is complete. So when you're thinking about solar and you're going to think about a new roof, you can share this with the installer, and they can often, wait until your new roof is complete before they put the solar on. Something else is snow. So we do get snow here, obviously. And because the solar modules are dark and they're conducting electricity, they heat up just a little bit and they're glass, so the snow is going to slide off them when it's sunny out. Uh, if you've had experience with a metal roof, it's very similar. The snow is going to melt off that before it melts off shingles. Because of this, it's important to note that the snow can build up on the bottom of your panels where it's falling off, and it slides off in a clump. So be wary of where you're placing these panels, because if it's above a walkway, if it's above furniture, that snow is going to be sliding off the panels before it slides off to the rest of the roof. We also get questions about hail. The industry standard is that solar modules are rated to withstand 1-inch size hail at up to 50 miles an hour. The silicon solar cells are brittle, but there is a very strong glass covering over those solar cells. Anecdotally, we ran a program last year where we had a hailstorm, and the only work that our solar installer had to do was go out to remove panels so that the people could get their roof fixed, but the panels were perfectly safe. So hail, typically a solar panel can withstand a decent hailstorm. Finally, rodents. If you have a squirrel problem right now, if you have a squirrel highway running over your roof, you're going to have that squirrel problem once your panels are in place. And they do love to chew on some wires. So there are things like Critter Guard that can protect your wires in your system. This is something to mention to your installer if that's a concern. Another consideration is energy efficiency. We have this cute little saying that the cheapest energy is the energy you never use in the first place. It's catchy, but it's true, and understanding your personal energy use is an important step towards your energy independence. Making energy efficiency and conservation choices in your home, which includes replacing switching out old light bulbs, utilizing smart power strips, turning off electronics when not in use, weatherproofing your windows, these can all save significant amounts of energy. For every dollar you put into energy efficiency improvements, you get $3 back in energy savings. This can also reduce the necessary size of your solar panels if you decide to pursue solar. So if you're planning to make some efficiency improvements, let your solar installer know so they can take that into account when they size a proposal for you, because they do base it off of your previous electricity usage. So if you're going to reduce that electricity usage, excuse me, it's important to let your installer know so you can save some money. On the other hand, if you plan to increase your energy usage, you're going to get an EV charger. Maybe you're going to get a hot tub. You should also let your installer know that your energy usage is going to go up so they can appropriately size that system for you. So that was a lot. To summarize what we've covered, there are several considerations you're going to want to think about before you decide to go solar. Do you have a good solar window? Which direction is my roof facing? Do I need to re-roof? Is my home energy efficient? What adders am I going to need? For example, you could have a wish list. Maybe you want American-made panels. Maybe you want to get a smart electric panel so you can shut off breakers from your phone. Maybe you're going to add a child. Things like that are important to note when you're thinking about your energy needs and what you're going to talk about with your installer. So, incentives and financing. This is what a lot of people come for. So we're going to talk about how you can save money on a solar system. We'll go through the incentives one by one. So these incentives can cover around 60 to 65% of the cost of going solar if you purchase the system. So the first incentive is from the state, and it's called an SREC. SREC stands for Solar Renewable Energy Credit, and this covers right away up to about 30 to 35% of the cost of going solar. The second incentive is a federal tax credit, and this is 30% of the cost. You should be able to take advantage of these two incentives within the first year of going solar. Then you add in your utility net metering credits, and you're helping to pay back your system faster. Another benefit that we have in Illinois is that homeowners associations cannot block you from going solar or fine you from going solar. So, SRECs, this is the first credit we talked about from the state of Illinois, and it's through a program called Illinois Shines, which incentivizes people to go solar. So your approved vendor will make an estimate of your solar production over the first 15 years. That number will be rounded down to the nearest whole REC and multiplied by the current REC price for the program. Your approved vendor will apply for the SREC incentive on your behalf. Typically, this approved vendor is a third party that your installer will be working with. Sometimes the installers also process these applications in-house. Note, the approved vendor will often take a cut of the incentive as the processing fee. You will typically receive this incentive as a check then from your solar installer 6 to 12 months after your system is installed and connected to the grid. Please note that this can take a little longer because there is very high demand for these credits. But your installer can give you a better understanding of the timeline once your application is submitted. They should know kind of when you should be getting that check. The incentive will be worth about 30 to 35% of your project cost. Very important final note on SRECs is that they are considered taxable income. So account for that when you're planning your taxes. The second credit is the federal tax credit. This credit is 30% of the total project cost. This does not include a new roof unless your home requires structural reinforcement to support the solar system. Your home must be owned by the taxpayer, but it does not have to be your principal residence. So if you have a cabin, you can still get this solar tax credit. This is a non-refundable credit, but it will reduce what you owe on your income taxes. If the value of your credit is greater than what you owe that year, the excess amount can roll over into the next year. We recommend talking to your tax advisor to see how the tax credit can benefit you. We touched on this a little bit in solar benefits, but your home value will go up with a solar system. Zillow reports homes with solar panels sell for about 4.1% more. Additionally, NREL found that some homes with solar sell faster than similar non-solar homes. Finally, Berkeley has found that home buyers will pay more for homes with solar. Now we'll discuss your options for going solar. If you want to install solar on your own home, there are 3 different options. The first option is to purchase the panels outright. This is where you're getting to directly take advantage of these state and federal incentives, and there are also lots of financing options available to help you purchase your system. The second option is to lease a system. With a solar lease, the solar company owns the system. Because they own it, they get to take advantage of the incentives. They use those incentives to lower your monthly payment, but there's no requirement that they pass on a certain portion of these savings to you. Although there's no money owed up front, you'll often end up paying more over the lifetime of a lease than you would by purchasing the system outright. Sometimes this can be even twice as much. Still, for residents focused on clean energy and who may not be in a position to purchase a system outright, leasing is a nice option. There is a third option, and this is a power purchase agreement, or PPA. This is similar to a lease, where the company owns the system, but instead of paying a set monthly payment, you pay a rate per kilowatt hour for the energy produced by the system. There are some things to look out for with both leases and PPAs. Many leases and PPAs include cost escalators that's aligned in the contract saying your monthly payment will increase annually by 2 to 3%. And these are long-term contracts, so by the end of the contract, you could be paying 50% more than you did in the first year. You should also check the contract to see what happens if you move. A lot of these contracts have disadvantages for homeowners if you need to sell the house before your lease term is up. Both CUB and the MREA recommend not signing a lease or PPA without first exploring an ownership option. Most people will pay significantly less if you purchase rather than lease. So if you're going to purchase a system, you may need to finance. When considering financing options, it's important to shop around. There are a few options to consider. You can always check with your local credit union or local bank. We do have some options that you can go through. We have a Midwest-specific bank, Greenpenny, which is powered by Decorah Bank and Trust. And we also have a national option, which is the Clean Energy Credit Union. And the MREA is a member of this credit union, and it's focused solely on providing loans for clean energy products and services. The next program I want to mention is Community Solar. Community Solar is a program that makes solar accessible for people who cannot put solar on their own homes for whatever reason. Maybe you're a renter, you have a shaded roof, you can't afford the upfront cost of rooftop solar right now. There are privately owned community solar gardens located all over the state, and this program allows people to subscribe to a project that is located within their utility territory. To learn more, you should visit solarinthecommunity.com. The final state program I want to talk about is Solar for All. Illinois Solar for All is an income-eligible solar program. It includes incentives for community solar, residential solar, and solar for nonprofits and public facilities. If you qualify for it, Solar for All is going to be the most affordable way for you to go solar. Solar for All is actually structured as a lease in most cases, but the companies that offer it are required to offer no money down and 50% savings on the energy generated by the solar system. To qualify for this program, you must be at or below 80% of the area median income. This varies by location and household size. In the Chicago area, the household income cutoff for a family of 4 is $83,350. Visit IllinoisSFA.com to learn more about this program. So, solar costs. Finally, I want to explain the details of the Solar Group Buy program called Switch Together Chicagoland. Switch Together Chicagoland provides consumers with a safer and more affordable way to go solar. We have an installer vetting and selection process to make sure that the best companies are participating in the program. And we also use bulk purchasing power to secure a lower price for solar. We make sure there are plenty of educational opportunities built in so that interested participants can learn about solar and whether or not they should go solar through the program. So let's put it all together. For this example, we'll start with the program price per watt. With this program, the price is about 17% lower than the current market price. In this example, we'll use a 6.5 kilowatt system, which is the average size, that has an adder. In this example, they have that squirrel highway on their roof, so they got a critter guard. With those adders, their system cost is going to be $18,500. You will see the federal tax credit of 30% in the next line. Then the SREC is subtracted from the total to give us the final overall price. The payback for this system will take about 5.5 years, but in the first year, this home will save $1,300 in utility savings alone. Again, your site will require different needs in this example, so we recommend registering for the program to better understand what these numbers could be for you. But this is just an example to kind of give you a ballpark, you know. So you can register for Switch Together Chicagoland through our online portal. You'll fill out a short questionnaire about your home and energy usage. This is an example from a Minnesota program. We use this information that you provide, you know, how many stories is your home, how large is it, and your energy usage. And we also use the program pricing to provide you with a personal recommendation. The personal recommendation is a preliminary proposal to give you an idea of what a system may look like for you. You can then choose to accept or decline this offer. If you accept the offer, you'll be put in direct contact with the program installer. From there, they will work with you to design a system and install it. Once you accept your personal recommendation, there will be a $150 deposit. We ask for this deposit in order to maintain a competitive price from the installers. Keeping their workload down equals a better price for program participants. But if you choose not to go forward with the system after you speak with the installer, it doesn't work for you, this deposit is fully refundable. That brings us to the end of the presentation. To register for Switch Together, visit switchtogether.com/solar/Chicagoland. If you have any questions about the program, please contact our help desk, which you can reach at solar@switchtogether.com via email, or you can call us at 1-888-810-1117. Thank you for watching.
All right, this brings us to the end of the webinar. Just a few final comments. If you're interested in participating in our program, you can take a free roof test on our website to see if your home is suitable for solar. It's completely free to participate, and there's no obligation to accept if you register. Lastly, a survey about our webinar will pop up on your screen. If you have a moment, we would appreciate your feedback so that we can continue to improve these sessions. That is everything. Thank you for attending. We hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, please visit our website or contact our help desk at solar@switchtogether.com. Thank you.